Hey everyone! Ready to completely transform your garden one step at a time? Today, we're going to dig into some amazing, and I mean really budget-friendly ways to build a beautiful walkway all by yourself. You know what I'm talking about, right? That little patch of dirt that turns into a total mud pit the second it rains, carving its way through your beautiful plants. It just feels like one of those problems that's going to be super expensive or complicated to fix. But what if I told you that a gorgeous, sturdy garden path is completely within your reach? Yep, no giant budget, no team of professionals needed. Let's break down exactly how you can pull it off. Sure, you could hire a professional, but that usually comes with a pretty hefty price tag, and you're kind of stuck on their schedule. The real beauty of going the DIY route is that you control everything. The cost, the timeline. You want to knock it out in a weekend? Great. You want to chip away at it for a few weeks? You're the boss. So, where do you even start? Let's begin with the simplest options out there. I'm talking about projects you can get done in a single weekend, for that awesome instant gratification without breaking a sweat. The absolute easiest paths use materials you can just pour. Think about it. You can go with mulch for a really soft, natural vibe, or you could choose gravel for something a bit more structured. Both are incredibly easy to install, but just remember, gravel is always going to give you a more formal, polished finish. Okay, so let's zoom in on a real crowd favorite, pea gravel. This stuff is popular for a very good reason, and honestly, a huge part of that comes down to the price. Pea gravel is hands down one of the most budget-friendly materials you can find. It's perfect for a simple, winding path between your garden beds or even a small patio area. And it really is that simple. You don't need to be some expert hardscaper. If you can pour something out of a bag, you can build this kind of path. It's the perfect starting point for any DIYer, for sure. Feeling confident? Good. Let's level up. With just a little bit more effort, you can create a look that is incredibly stylish and looks super professional. The secret here is all about combining two things: big stepping stones, like flagstone, with some kind of filler material to pack in the gaps. This combo gives you both structure and amazing texture. And seriously, the design possibilities are pretty much endless. And you've got so many choices for that filler. You could just let grass grow between the stones for a simple, natural look. Or, for a more enchanting vibe, try growing moss. It gives you that organic and dreamy feel. Or, if you want a really clean, high-end finish, you can use something called decomposed granite. So what in the world is decomposed granite? Well, think of it like really, really fine rock dust. When you pack it down, all those tiny particles bind together and create this firm, stable surface that gives your flagstone path a truly professional look. Now, here is a major pro tip. If you're putting those flagstones directly on the soil without a gravel base underneath, you absolutely have to use thicker slabs. The thinner stones, they're just way more likely to crack under pressure over time. Okay, let's talk about a common headache, right? Any loose material like pea gravel, well, it doesn't always stay where you put it. It ends up in your lawn, your garden beds, everywhere. It's a totally valid concern. But thankfully, the fix is super simple, and it really works. Just install some low-profile metal edging along the sides of your path. It's the best way to keep those little pebbles contained and maintain that nice, crisp, clean line. All right, for those of you who are ready to tackle something a little more involved, let's talk about the options that give you a truly high-end result. And don't be intimidated. A dedicated DIYer can absolutely pull these off. So here we have a few fantastic options. You could pour your own concrete slabs for this really cool, minimalist, almost zen-like garden feel. For that classic English cottage vibe, you can't beat red brick, though it does take a little more skill to get those lines perfect. Or you could do a combo of pavers and gravel for a modern look that's a bit more forgiving. Let's focus on that brick for a second. Yeah, the material cost of around $600 to $800 is higher than gravel, but think of it as a long-term investment. A brick path that's laid properly is incredibly durable. It can last for decades, and it adds real value with its timeless look. But what if your garden isn't perfectly flat? A slope is a whole different challenge. Loose gravel is a definite no-go. It's just going to slide right downhill. Instead, you've got two great options. You can create steps using that compacted, decomposed granite held in place with edging, or you can build classic, sturdy brick steps. Okay, phew. We have covered a lot of ideas, from the super simple to the pretty ambitious. Now, the most important part is turning all this inspiration into an actual plan for your garden. And here's the key takeaway. The basic process is really manageable. First, just map out your design. Straight, winding, your call. Then prep the ground. Clear it out and level it. Dig a shallow trench, maybe 6 inches deep. Lay down some garden fabric to stop the weeds, then add your filler, like gravel. And hey, you can even add stepping stones right on top. It's a pretty straightforward formula for success. You know, every great garden path, no matter how simple or complex, it all begins with just one step. Or maybe just one stone. So the only question left is, where are you going to place yours?